Look, I want to talk to you about what happened in Minneapolis. Families, no doubt, still feeling the heartbreak after this insane trans shooter killed 3 children and left more than a dozen injured at a Catholic school. And it doesn't get any more horrific than that. The media's coverage has been pretty awful. We've heard from Jen Psaki, who was quick to worry about the narrative around trans people and leaped to their defence. Other outlets have been focusing on getting the shooter's pronouns right. Others have dismissed the thoughts and prayers coming from leaders and dismissing the power of prayer at a time like this. And then you've also heard from people like Rosie O'Donnell declaring that the shooter was a MAGA person. Listen to this.
What do you know? Was a white guy, Republican, MAGA person. What do you know?
Rosie O'Donnell has apologised and admitted that she got it wrong. But as we know, of course, the shooter had a manifesto, had written about killing Donald Trump. He's written anti-Semitic comments before. I mean, hearing messages like this at a time of such tragedy, I just think it's pretty sick.
I agree. I mean, it is incredibly sick. And if you look at Rosie O'Donnell's face, it looks like she has a couple sicknesses going on. But, in reality, when you look at this horrible tragedy, I hate that it gets politicized on both sides. I would say that the Democrats are probably using it much more as a political tool to try to stop, gun violence by taking away our guns. And the right, people are going after the fact that this person was mentally ill and probably had gender dysphoria and was seriously confused. And, I think the argument is how much responsibility is put upon their parents. But at the same time, Robert or Robin Westman, whatever the media wants to call him, was an adult. So I don't know how much responsibility falls on his parents, but I do know that this was a mentally ill person that was probably on a lot of psychotropic drugs. And that's, I think, the issue that comes down to this is we have so many people that are on antidepressants that are unnecessarily prescribed or prescribed the wrong medication for that matter.
Sure.
And it just increases the idea of suicide and things like this are going to be much more prevalent in a society that's constantly over-medicated.
Moving on, Alex, I want to talk to you about 2028. The Hill has released the top GOP contenders to succeed Donald Trump for president, and they include, of course, Vice President J.D. Vance, probably the most obvious choice. They've also included Donald Trump Jr., Senator Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Ron DeSantis, Josh Hawley, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Tim Scott. What do you make of this and the assessment of these names?
Honestly, of all those names, I didn't hear Steve Bannon. I think Steve Bannon is kind of the dark horse candidate. Now, I don't know if he can necessarily win the race, but I feel like that he's kind of the dark horse that the people don't want. So I don't know. When it comes to anybody after Donald Trump, it's going to be a fall off. I just hope that fall off is not very steep. And it looks like J.D. Vance is definitely the front runner. I mean, he's in the captain's seat. He gets to kind of decide whether he gets to decide on what he wants to do. And I think he wants to run for president. So I believe that every other contender is going to have a really uphill battle when it comes to trying to defeat J.D. Vance.
Finally, a rising Democrat star, Maryland Governor Wes Moore, has been facing questions about his military awards. And he, of course, incorrectly claimed in 2006 in this application for a White House fellowship that he was awarded a Bronze Star. Now, he sat down for an interview with ABC, and that interview can only be described as a train wreck. Take a look.
Claiming you had a Bronze Star in 2006 when you were applying for a job. Why did you do that?
Well, I think I'm deeply proud of my service to this country. And I know my soldiers that I serve with are deeply proud, and the veteran community is as well. And I think it's pretty common knowledge or common belief that when your commanding officers and your superior officers tell you, listen, we put you in and we've gone through everything, so as you're going through your application, include it. I included it, and I didn't think about it.
He was eventually awarded a Bronze Star after becoming governor in 2024, but he refuses to apologise about repeatedly lying about receiving the Bronze Star at that time. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, stolen valor is a felony. Obviously, he is a military veteran, but to lie about that, it just kind of poo-poos on the legacy of all the people that earned a Bronze Star, genuinely instead of dishonestly, like he got it posthumously, basically, after he became the governor. So I just don't like our military veterans being disrespected by guys lying. And it happens more often than not. I mean, you see Tim Walz, the vice president nominee, he had some, allegations of stolen valor. And these guys were military vets. Like, why is that not enough? The fact that they have to lie, it just demonstrates their tendency to lie to the American people if they'll lie about their own background. So I really don't trust this guy. And And if you're going to lie about your resume when it's very easily checkable, imagine what he's lying about while he's in office.
Alex Stein, brilliant to speak to you as always. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.